Along Merchant Street, she's ready. J.R. Mason, Ambridge, Mario Leone, the borough manager. Every time I try to get out, he brings me back in. Dominic Crivelli earlier today, Avelli Concrete, celebrating 40 years of a job well done. But speaking of a job well done, you know, I've always told my children, because it wasn't one of my greatest gifts, to learn to write. And anybody that can write, as far as I'm concerned, you have a real treasure. And to be able to do it in book form, it's a real treasure. So J.R. Mason is here. This is her 5th book, Stolen Pieces, wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And Mario, get a little close. This is what we're going to be talking about, but we're going to talk about her journey and her other books, and very timely, because I'm sure a lot of you out there experienced exactly what I did. And I told her, this is what, by the way, part 2. 3.
That's right. 3.
And here's 2. So the story continues, 2 and 3, and you got to get the trilogy for sure. But we were talking about the pandemic and COVID, and I haven't really socialized since February. I'll tell you exactly when it was, 2020. So besides working on the radio and out in public doing these incredible videos to let you meet some of the unique people of this region, I pretty much am in my home studio. But it went from 20 to 21, 22, 23, and now kind of starting to get that good feel again. But she really wrote about her love life and her lack of it, and really nothing exciting going on during that period. So before we get to this latest book, novel, so why'd you find the need to want to write about it? I mean, talk about something that a lot of people can relate to.
Tell me about it. That's most of what my reviews say is, I can relate. This is what happened to me. The dating is trash. It's everywhere. It's not just Pittsburgh. So I actually wasn't going to write the book. I tried at one point and just didn't. And I got furloughed during COVID, and that's when the first Confessions was born.
Yeah, Confessions of a Sane Single Woman, and you can get all of these, of course, where books are sold. You can actually reach out to her on this link, and she can take you exactly where you need to go. But it really was, I don't know about you, but it got so bad I couldn't see my kids because I was on the radio, and I had to go into the studio, and I was basically embossed in a studio and had no one but a producer behind the other glass and a news person behind the other glass, you know, looking out into the newsroom. So pretty much I was hermetically sealed. And for a person who loves to communicate and get out and meet people, especially socialize, it kind of put me into a really big funk. Did you go through the same thing?
I did, and trying to date during that time was even worse because, okay, you can't go anywhere, right? You're stuck at home.
Where are you going to meet them?
Exactly. So online, that's all you can do, right? And so then it's like you either have to go to that person's house or they have to come to yours, which that's not safe. Like,
especially if you meet them online.
Well, exactly. But you know, I kill people for fun, so I like come to my house.
Tell me a little bit about this book first, The Confessions of a Sane Single Woman. So take me through the timeline, because I haven't had a chance to read it. Go ahead.
So this is actually probably about 9 years worth of dating stories, but it's written in a manner that it feels like 1 year.
Maybe I should read this.
Yes,
book.
it's fun. It's a little naughty, and
okay.
But it feels like
I definitely should read this book. No, go ahead.
It feels like it's just 1 year. Like it doesn't take you across 9 whole years, and it's written like a fiction book. It's not just date story, life thing, date story. It literally is written like I'm telling someone else's story, except I'm telling my tragic story.
You know, my daughter Eva, who is 22 years of age, she reads like 10, 20, 30 books a summer. I mean, and we're just coming off the summer, and I'm sure she's done a lot of reading this summer. Why do you think still holding the book, reading a book still matters? I mean, there's just so much you can get out of actually holding the book, whether it's paperback or hard copy of the book. Why do you think it still works?
That I have no idea, because I'm a Kindle reader.
Are you?
Yes.
That's okay.
I read ebooks like they're going out of style. I don't leave home without my Kindle. So.
Do you ever do books on tape at all?
Audiobooks?
Yeah.
I do. Actually, these 2 books right now are on audio, and I actually bought my tape or my speaker so I could play you a snippet when we're done.
Who did it? Who did it? Did you?
I did. It's a full-blown production too. It has sound effects. There's tense music. It is
you
not
do
just. It's the house, man. I don't leave the house.
Well, now
I'm single.
Well, now you're taking over the social media for the borough, and obviously their website and Facebook and X and all that other good stuff. My daughter, who graduated from Penn State, that was what her degree was in. I find all of that fascinating, and I do a lot of social media, and I tell people all the time, get me the youngest person in this room to film the video, and I don't have anyone. So Mario, I know, that was the best I had today. But young people really catch on to this stuff fast, and you're a young person, so did it come easy for you?
The audio?
Yeah, social media stuff.
Well, so I hate social media, for being honest. It's not
Really?
fun, no. Yeah.
Do you see any value in it at all?
Oh yes. The value's there. It's a necessary evil. Like, it's got to be done. Is that eagle eating that squirrel? I'm so sorry. There
That's
was some
okay.
eagles.
Eagles all good.
Oh gosh.
Mother Nature.
No, I feel so bad. But yeah, so I've been beefing up my social media presence and doing some crazy reels and whatnot for this book, and I get to be creepy now since, again, I'm killing people.
I tell people all the time, that 4-year period, if Stephen King were writing my life story, you'd have to turn the lights on. It was horrible, that pandemic. I mean, I really missed the ability of communicating with people and talking to people. So really, then you take a turn for the dark side in this, and it's kind of like that, it's a crime story, right? It's kind of a thriller. So Stolen Pieces, and obviously parts 1, 2, and 3, how creepy and bizarre does it get, and dark?
It doesn't start out dark. It starts out like a normal psychological
Is
thriller.
it like a Criminal Minds type of
It
thing?
is. It's like Criminal Minds meets Law and Order SVU with a little 911 thrown in, and it's all set in Pittsburgh, takes place in Pittsburgh. You are finding pieces of people throughout the greater Pittsburgh area.
So that's why it's Stolen Pieces.
Yes, but part of the reason why it's Stolen Pieces.
One limited time.
Yeah, pretty much. So piece by piece, Jack. So it starts out like a normal psychological thriller. You know, just twists and turns, surprises, piece here and piece there. You know, and then the second book comes out, and it gets a little darker, and it's like, okay, this is getting a little dark. Like, should you be doing that to a pregnant? Probably not.
No.
Like,
But how did you take your mind there? Or has it always been there?
yeah, that part.
Really? Do you love
Strike that
horror?
from the
You
record.
love that genre?
I do enjoy a good thriller. Not the gore, because this is not gory. I will say my killer, they call this killer the Keeper, the Peacekeeper, P-I-E-C-E, obviously, Peacekeeper.
Yeah.
And this killer is very meticulous, so there's no gore, there's very little blood, because blood leaves mess leaves problems, right? So you gotta keep it clean.
And evidence.
Yes, exactly. So this gets a little darker, and then we get to this one, and it's just like the darkness is here, which is why it's called Hidden Darkness, because it's not really hidden anymore. So,
But you should be so proud of yourself.
I am very proud,
Not to
especially with the audio, because I had no idea what I was doing with that audio, none, and it sounds like you would never know.
Are you from Amherst?
I am.
So did a teacher have anything to do with this writing ability that you had back in the day?
Yes.
Not that far back in the
Yes.
day. Who? Who was it?
Probably the late Miss Piontek. I don't know if you remember Miss Martha
No.
Piontek. She was awesome. Mr. Weil, Thomas Weil, Cambridge High School.
Right.
Mr. Bednar in 7th grade English, who made us memorize all 72 of our prepositions, which I can still do. It's scary. Because you're not supposed to end a sentence in a preposition, right? You can't follow that
Believe
if you
me.
don't know what the prepositions
I
are.
was at my alma mater today. They're still wondering how I graduated, so I'll take your word for it. But let me ask you this. When they make movies sometimes, they film the end in the beginning. Do you write that way, or do you write every step of the way as far as the story?
I need to know what the ending's going to be first.
Right.
Like, I have to know that, because how am I getting there is the question. But then once I know what I want, how I want to end it, I start in order, because stuff has to be handled. Like, there's certain like loops that need to be closed. There's certain holes that need to be filled. So I can't just jump around, because then I'm going to miss stuff, and I'm going to have a bunch of plot holes, and I hate plot holes. So every hole is filled, every loop is closed. We're good.
Where do you want this to go someday? Could you see a screenplay in some of this stuff?
I would love for this to be like a Netflix, Hulu type
Amazon
mini series, yeah, Prime Video, something. I feel like it is a great series, because there are so many twists and turns. There's so much action and spice. There's spice.
Well, think about it. You know, my life, the thing that really saved me during the pandemic was Netflix, Amazon, those Ray Donovan, HBO, True Detective, you know, Jodie Foster recently, American Rush, Jeff Daniels, which sadly did not get picked up for another season on Amazon. I thought was fantastic. But this is like right there.
It would be. And a lot of the reviews actually say that. They're like, Netflix, where are you at? What are you doing? Why are we not here? What's happening?
Yeah. So would you stay in Ambridge if you ever really made it big? please tell me you'll stay in Ambridge.
Would I stay in
Yeah.
Ambridge?
Or
Like
you-
live here?
Yeah. Come on.
No, I want to buy an island somewhere. Like
Not me. I want to live right here on Merchant
I
Street.
want to be where there's no snow, but where it's not too hot. Like I would love to just open a little shack on an island and rent jet skis.
That's right.
And write.
You really find this lethargic doing all this stuff?
No, it actually stresses me out. I'm stressed out. I have anxiety. Like my heart rate isn't right. I probably need to be medicated. I need a therapist. I absolutely need a therapist. Yeah.
But don't you think, though, it really can actually work in your favor to pour all of this stuff out into a book?
Well, yeah, because at least I'm putting it in a book and not.
Yeah. When did you realize that you had the ability to do something like this? Was it a light that went off, or it just kind of gradually started to happen?
I've actually always enjoyed screenplay writing and teleplay writing. Any
That's
type
short
of
form,
script.
correct?
Yeah, movie scripts, TV. I have an amazing episode of Law & Order SVU at the house, a script.
See, I got to tell you, where I'm going to be gifting these books, my daughter and her mother love this stuff, and they love that type of genre. Now, why is it that I have a hard time watching that stuff? Because I'm always putting somebody I know in there and worrying about them, and there's other people that really connect and find it very invigorating. Why is that?
Because the people who are putting the people in there are the ones they don't like, and so that's what I did. If anyone has ever angered me, you pissed me off in any way, shape, or form, your name is in this book, and I have violently unalived you with glee.
Do you think people are realizing?
I don't care. That's where we're at with it.
Well, listen.
You stood me up last week. Guess what?
What was the most disappointing thing that you really took from the pandemic? I'll just tell you what it was. It was just, I'm a night owl. I love that neon light. I like being out amongst people, enjoying a beer, chit-chatting, getting to know people, watching your favorite sporting event. We're going to get a cup of coffee. That was kind of taken really away from us, and the isolation was rough on me. How about you?
I won't say the isolation was rough on me because I don't necessarily want to be around that many people anyway.
I get it.
But since I own my home right down the street here, and I have a very large porch, so that's where everyone came to my house. And I'm such a germaphobe that I hadn't even had a common cold for about 10 years, and it took me 4 years to finally get COVID. So people feel safe coming to my house and eating and stuff because I'm already a raging germaphobe. So I had a lot of company during COVID.
What I admire about you, JR, is your honesty. And it's so hard to find, especially in interviews. And I've often said to my radio audience, this is who I am. The same person you hear, the person for years on television and years on social media, that's who I am.
Yep.
People just want real. And this is fiction, but it's going to
But this is real. This is not fiction.
Yeah, so this is kind of like Dear Abby 2024 on
right.
steroids.
And it's fun because since, I dictated all of my books, I don't sit at the computer and write, I dictate. So it's very conversational, and a lot of
You
people who read it,
dictate?
and a lot of people who read it are like, I feel like we're talking to the authors, the reviews I get. Well, it is, because I was literally talking to you. I wrote it.
Maybe I could actually do a book if you could dictate it.
Yeah.
People, I don't know if I really want to do that book, but I will tell you this.
Well, call me for the cover design. I'll do all your
It
covers.
was absolutely a joy meeting you, and I know you're going to do great things here at the Borough. So again, tell the people the name of the books and where they can get them. Wherever good books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Yes, or you can get it directly from my website, and they come signed.
Signed too.
Oh yeah, personalized. If you're getting it for your wife, I will write in there for your wife. They come
I'm
in
working on that.
sexy packaging with. Can't wait for you to find out what these little rubies are all about.
Yeah, what are they about?
I don't know. You gotta have to wait to find
Now,
out. Some
where
people.
does someone's mind get that detail oriented to do something like that? That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
Thank you. Some people think, it's like how many victims there are in the book, or they represent blood droplets. I don't know. But they do come with bookmarks, and I've stolen pieces of your bookmark as well, so branding,
Well, listen, you're a gem and a real talent, and I'm glad I had a chance after a long day to get to meet you. Maybe we'll get you on the radio side, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, going to come back. Mario Leone and I are going to talk about some great things happening in Ambridge on this beautiful summer night in the park next to the gazebo and Merchant Street. Stay with us.